Have you ever imagined going from being the star player in a team to suddenly becoming the coach of the team? Well, it's a bit like transitioning from being an individual contributor at work to becoming a team leader, a manager. It might sound exciting, but at the same time it's like, what do I do with a whistle? Today we'll explore what changes and what needs to change when you're becoming a manager instead of an individual contributor. We'll talk about the skills you need, the first steps that you should take, and the common pitfall that you should try to avoid. And of course, I will share some practical tips and exercises so you can hit the ground running. Let's demystify together the art of becoming a great manager. Hey, my name is Greg. I'm a master coach helping people, teams, and organizations to know themselves, design their future self, and become their future selves. I'm here to help you live a life where you have control. Let's start with the basics. What exactly changes when you go from being an individual contributor, an expert, to becoming a team leader or manager? As an individual contributor or an expert, a lot of what you were doing daily was about your own task. Coding, designing, writing, whatever you felt. You were the master of your craft. It was all about your personal skill and efficiency. You also had to cooperate with other parts of your team, whatever it is, but this was secondary to the fact that you needed to complete tasks. You were like a superhero in your own right, Captain Efficiency if you will. But as a team leader, it's a whole different story. It's less about your individual task as it is about guiding others. Your success is measured not just by how you're doing, but much more by how your team is performing overall. You can think yourself as a juggler now, keeping multiple balls in the air at a time. It's a shift from doing to enabling. Your focus moves from individual tasks to bigger picture stuff, setting goals, delegating tasks, coaching your team members, and of course navigating the waters of team dynamics. A good book to read about this shift in any moment of your career actually is called What Got You Here Won't Get You There, and that's from Marshall Goldsmith. So there are multiple angles which are shifting. You're going from doing to delegating, from solo performer to team orchestrator, from specialist to generalist, from peer to leader, from short-term focus to long-term planning, from task completion to goal setting, from individual learning to team development, from problem solver to empowerer, from feedback receiver to feedback giver. Overall, this shift is accepting that the value that you provide and the value that you see in yourself is less about what you do for others based on your own work, but it is about how your team is performing. This perception of your value, that is a hard part to change. Alright, so you are ready to make the leap from solo star to maestro of a team. But what skills do you need to conduct this new symphony? First, vision creation. A great manager doesn't only see the present and live in the present, they envision the future. It's about setting a clear, compelling vision and direction for your team. Once you see the bigger picture, then share it with your team. Make them see what you see and also realize how they are part of this vision. And better yet, create this vision together with your team. As an exercise, craft a vision statement for your team. What do you see your team in a year? What are you achieving together? And share it with a mentor, get some feedback from your team or people around you. Next up, coordination. This is all about ensuring that the different parts of your teams are working seamlessly together like a well-oiled machine, or like a healthy body. Coordination means being aware of what each of your team member is doing and making sure that everything is aligned with the vision and the goals that you have for your team. And it's also about understanding the mood and the mindset of your team so you can help them with their intrinsic motivation to do their job. And if you want to learn a lot more about how you can motivate yourself and your team, then check this out. The third aspect, inspiration, is the fuel that keeps your team going. Your enthusiasm and commitment can be contagious. It doesn't have to be that energetic. Small act of recognition and showing belief in your team's capabilities will work wonders. People are only capable of what you see in them. Try the weekly shout. At the end of each week, you can acknowledge one team member who has performed particularly well in front of the others. And performance here can be about effort, it can be about results. And it also can be about acknowledging failures and people who are ready to talk about them. Number 4, mentoring and coaching is about nurturing your team's growth. It's not just leading, it is teaching, guiding, and supporting. As a mentor and coach, your role is to help your team members develop their skills, competence, behaviors so they're more confident. And it is about being approachable and available. Schedule regular one-on-one sessions. Use these meetings to provide guidance, to talk about career aspirations, and also to give some constructive feedback. And finally, number 5, decision making. As a manager, your decisions are important and they can have a big impact. It's about analyzing information based on data, it's about looking at the different options, and finally it's about being decisive in your decisions. Collect insights from your team, from the environment, consider different options, and then trust your judgment to make the call. Yes, you will make mistakes. That's actually part of the process of getting better at decision making. Practice with the decision journal. Record the decisions you made, when you made them, why you made them, and later see how they turned out. It's a great learning tool to adjust. Remember one key point. Those skills only exist through your behaviors, your actions. So you need to change your behaviors. And if you want some inspiration from one of the best companies in the world about what are the key behaviors that a manager should have, then you might want to check this out. You like this video so far? Then you know what to do. Also subscribe to the channel, put on the notifications if you want to receive content like this every week. And if you want to learn more about this transition from being an individual contributor to a team leader, then check out all the other resources in the description. Stepping into your new role of team leader manager is thrilling, but you might be asking yourself, what do I do first? First thing first, establish your leadership. This doesn't mean a grand announcement. It's more about showing your commitment to the team's success and your willingness to lead. Show your team that you're there to support and guide them, not just to give them orders. Start by arranging a team meeting. Use this opportunity to share who you are, if that's needed. What is your vision, where you think you should be going? Well, listen also to their thoughts and set a collaborative tone between people. And yes, announce it to the world. Change your LinkedIn profile, tell your friends and family, whatever it takes. This is not to boast, but it is to fully accept and enter into the new role. This is a way of fighting imposter syndrome, okay? You announce it to the world, you have to be that person. Once it's out there, people will expect you to behave the way your role is. Next, build relationships. This is key. Understand who is on your team, what is their strengths, their weaknesses, their aspirations, their interests, etc. You don't have to set up a speed dating session, but make sure that you're using enough time with each of the person in your team. It shows you care and it helps build trust. That's back to the one-on-one sessions that we talked about before. You might also want to take people for lunch one-to-one because it's a very good way to informally get to know each other better. Communication is the lifeline of a team. Establish clear and open channels right from the start. Skip the smoke signals and make sure that people really understand how and when and where they can get in touch with you. Whether it's regular meetings, email, or it's through apps, etc., people need to know the way you vibe with communication. And you need to know how they vibe. Then set some clear goals. This gives your team immediate direction and something to rally around. These goals should be obviously achievable and align with your vision. And when you get some early wins, celebrate them. That's great for team morale. And it's great for ensuring that people see you as part of that success. Also establish team norms. That will help you to align everyone in the team with what is expected in terms of behaviors day to day. To add to this, you can link your team norms to your team core values. That makes them even more powerful. In my management team, we used to have one. We will go to heaven and hell together. It was mostly heaven. As a new manager, you're bound to face challenges. But let's talk about some common hurdles and how to gracefully leap over them. First up, delegation. Many new managers struggle to let go of tasks that they used to do themselves. It's like handing over the keys to your precious car. It's about trust. Your job now is to guide, not to do everything yourself. Remember that people are only as good as what you see in them. Start small. Delegate smaller tasks first, and then mentor people around those tasks and guide them, and progressively build more and more trust, and then give them more and more tasks. Remember, delegating is not just about offloading work. It's about empowering your team. Next is conflict resolution. With diverse personalities and just a bunch of human beings, then conflict is pretty much inevitable. It's like being a referee in a soccer match. It's important to address conflict early and fairly. Listen to all sides and strive to find a resolution that benefits not only the individuals, but the team overall. Encourage open communication. When conflict arises, then organize a meeting where everyone can voice their opinion, and that they can do so in a controlled environment. Here, being impartial and empathetic is key. Managing different personalities is like trying to harmonize a rock band or a symphony orchestra and a jazz ensemble all at once. Each team member is unique. Embrace this diversity as its strengths. Do some team exercises that will help your team and each individual to discover their strengths, their core values, their interests, etc. And you can also use some psychometric tests like the DISC test or like the Big Five to help the team see the diversity that there is and find a common vocabulary to express it. Finding the right balance between being authoritative and approachable is also very important. You want to be respected, but also relatable. Being a leader doesn't mean that you can't be part of the team. Lead with confidence, but also show your human side. Be careful of not becoming the friend, because friends can be taken advantage of in a team environment. Then communicate openly and encourage feedback. It's about creating an environment where your team feels comfortable in being able to openly discuss issues with you. One last pitfall: if you have been recruited externally or if you're joining a team from a completely different department, then let's make sure that you're not trying to reinvent everything from day one. Remember that you're coming in a way as a stranger here, and people might be well proud of what they've achieved so far. So respect that. Pause to understand the context of the team, what it has been doing so far, what its tasks are right now before you start to introduce some changes. And even better, make sure that you involve your people to find some new solutions to what you see as potential problems. And if you want to learn more about some key stress factors that you will experience as a new manager, then you might want to check out this video. To make it simple and summarize everything that I've said in this video today, when you're becoming a team leader and manager, what is important is to be building trust and fostering motivation in your team. It's not easy to be doing this alone, so make sure that you get the right resources around you. You can take some courses, you can have a mentor, you can have a coach. Be guided by people around you, learn new things. Because you're trying to do one of the hardest things to do, which is to change your behaviors, which will lead you to eventually have new skills. Let me leave you with a thought from John C. Maxwell, who is a renowned author and speaker on leadership. And he said, "Leadership is not about titles, positions, or flowcharts. It is about one life influencing another." One key aspect for working in a team is to have aligned values. Whether they are your personal core values or they are the team core values agreed together. If you want to learn about a powerful exercise to identify them, then you might be interested in this video here.